Can I retire this year? And for many people, that's the question that they are throwing at you, Abe, because of all the market ups and downs. But the reality is it has less to do with the market and more to do with 5 areas that you need to have covered. Let's talk about these 5 areas, Abe. Abe Abich, financial advisor, founder of Abich Financial Services. I'm Heather Branch here with Abe to dive into some things that he wants you to know about. And I love the conversations that we have about truly understanding if we're prepared, because you talk all the time about people, they do have enough money. They are worried, but it's a lot, most of the time. I mean, how is it mostly very rare for you to see somebody that doesn't have enough money?
It is very rare for someone to come in and that we need to tell them, hey, you have to work another 3 or 5 years. You need to sock away another 300, 500, $1 million. It's very rare.
Most people have enough money. It's the other stuff that they haven't thought about.
Yes.
Let's dive into that. An estimated 4 million are going to turn age 65 this year in 2025. So with that's going to come a lot of people wanting to retire. They ask you, Abe, can I do it? Is this the year that I can retire successfully? And to you, and to them, you say back, well, there's some things we got to look into first. So let's talk about these boxes, if you will, that need to be checked before you can answer that question for somebody.
Sure. Yeah, there are 5 things, and there are many more, but just for the sake of time here on the podcast that we're going to talk about today, just checklist boxes, if you will, that we should definitely be thinking about and checking off to see if you are able to retire. Some of them are really, really common sense, and some of them may not be. But the first is, are you emotionally ready? Are you emotionally ready to pull the trigger and retire? All you've ever known is work. All you've ever known for the last 30 to 50 years is getting up, working from home, working in the office, commuting, whatever it is, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, producing, providing value. That's going to stop. Yeah. So a lot of our clients will come in, they'll hire us, they'll come on board, they'll continue to work even though they don't have to because they have enough money saved, simply because they don't have a purpose, they don't have a plan yet. They don't have that lifestyle plan after, the financial plan is obviously extremely important, the investment plan. Most people don't have that lifestyle plan.
Yeah.
And most people aren't emotionally ready yet. They want to know they can retire so that if they're forced to, if they're laid off, if they just decide to one morning retire, that they could. A lot of people will continue working even though they don't need the income or assets anymore, just to get out of the house, just to produce. And because they're not emotionally ready to make that change and a full switch into the next season of their lives. So you've got to be ready. And if you're not, that's okay. You'll know when you are. And a couple of signs might be a new grandchild. You may say, you know what? We've got a new grandbaby on the way, or he or she is here, and we want to see them a lot more. We're 65, 68, 70. And we want to take advantage, right? And so if we're going to be spending more time with our grandchildren, then that's less time that obviously I can be working. Another sign might be you simply might just be tired. I hear it all the time. People will come in and say, I can't do this anymore. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to work, it's going to be at half the output. It's going to be 20 hours a week versus 40 or whatever it is. I can't handle the commute into DC and back out. Like that's 1 to 3 hours a day. I can't do that anymore. Just too stressful. So it might be grandchildren. It might be that you're just tired. It might also be you've hit a significant milestone at work. Maybe it's like a 40-year milestone. Maybe it's a milestone where you've hit this peak in your career. You've exited a company. You've helped a company to sell. You've hit this peak position in your career, and it's time. You've provided value and you've produced for 30 to 40 years, and you're fulfilled. Yeah. Right. So you're emotionally ready to retire. Okay. Obviously, you have to have enough money saved. So this is common sense. Yeah. What do you have saved? Where is it? Are those resources, are those assets going to be able to replace the 50 grand, 100 grand, 300 grand, 500 grand, whatever it is that you were making in retirement? Because the wage is going to stop and it's going to end or substantially be reduced if you go from full-time to part-time. Do you have enough socked away to fund your lifestyle every single year until you pass away, which could be 30 to 40 more years. I mean, if you're retiring at
Yeah.
60, you could easily live into your 90s. That could be 30, 35, 40 years of income that needs to be coming in from your portfolio. And is it enough? Is what you have saved today enough to last you the rest of your life? That's number 2. Number 3, do you have a post-retirement plan? Do you have, in other words, what I would call a lifestyle plan? What are you going to do when you retire? Now, some people look at me like I'm stupid and say, what am I not going to do? Like I have all this time and I have all this freedom and I'm going to spend time with the grandkids. I'm going to travel. I'm going to get on my boat and I'm going to play more tennis or pickleball and golf, whatever it is that drives your boat and that you have fun with and enjoy. But we also meet with a lot of people, and I'll just sit there and ask them, what are you going to do? And some people still have not thought it through all the way, and they don't know.
Can I add to this about this idea of what are you going to do? It's very important also you consider other people's time frames and schedules, because something that happened with me, I was in between jobs. I had actually left my last job before I took this job where I work with you. And I took some time off, just a few weeks off for me.
Sure.
And in that space, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to have lunch with my mom and I'm going to go see I had one of my best girlfriends was on maternity leave from her job. I was going to do all these things. And I would call people to like go to lunch or to go do these things. They were like, no, I've got this going on. I've got that. They couldn't. I ended up hanging out at the house for like 2 weeks by myself. Because you have to consider that other people's schedules might not align with yours.
Sure.
And I think that's, for me, I just had a reality moment. I was like, that's an interesting perspective that I think a lot of us don't think of, is remember other people's schedules too.
Including your spouse or partner. I mean, a lot of times people want to retire around the same time. Like, why would you want to be retired 5 or 10 years before your spouse? And some of you listening right now may say, well, why wouldn't I be? I mean, it's more time on the golf course or whatever.
That's right.
It all depends on the situation.
You keep working, I'll be out here.
But I would say most husbands and wives are retiring around the same time, right? That just kind of makes sense. You're going to be spending a lot of time together. So you need to have that post-retirement plan, that lifestyle plan. What is it that you're going to spend your time on? What are you going to pursue? What are your hobbies and interests? What's going to give you purpose? What's going to give you continued fulfillment and purpose? That way you can live life like that, continuing into retirement. Really important. Fourth, can you handle heading into the distribution phase? Can you handle potentially seeing retirement accounts and investment accounts and bank accounts and assets starting to go down? Now, ideally, well, for a lot of people, they want to preserve what they've saved, right? You've got $4 million at the point of retirement. They want $4 million or way more in their 90s to pass on, right? To be there for them, healthcare legacy to pass on. Many people say, you know what, Abe? Well, we don't have kids, or our kids are set. Our kid's a doctor or attorney, whatever. They're set. They're making a lot of money. They're going to have a lot of money saved. Our kids aren't our biggest concern. It's ourselves, right? It's producing the income that we need. It's making sure we have enough money for healthcare and whatever it is down the road. With that in mind, since legacy isn't really important for me or for whoever that is I'm talking to, couldn't we generate more income? Couldn't we leverage our assets more to generate more income, especially in these go-go years? So if that's you and you're watching this right now and you say, well, legacy isn't super important, whatever's left over is left over. Can you handle mentally seeing your values start to go down little by little? Because, you know, the 4% rule, if you have $1 million, 4% is 40 grand. That's probably going to preserve principal long term.
Okay.
But what if you started taking out 5 or 6%? Right. You might see those numbers start to go backwards little by little over the years. 900, 800, you know, it might not be the case, but it could be the case, especially in a downturn in the market where you're withdrawing. You could see those balances go backwards when all you've ever known of your lifetime is seeing those balances increase and grow. Are you ready mentally to head into
untrain your brain? You've been for 30, 40 years. The goal has been growth. And now you have to go in the opposite direction. You have to relearn the financial habits.
Here's another way to put it. Are you mentally ready to stop growing and socking away and accumulating and start withdrawing and distributing and decumulating? And a lot of people aren't. A lot of people aren't. Finally, have you talked to your spouse or partner? I mean, retirement is
Wait a minute.
typically.
Hold on. That should be the first.
Well, you'd be surprised. Most people that come in, they've already talked to each other about this, but you'd be surprised. And we have clients that'll sometimes, they won't be on the same page, and the husband or wife will continue to want to work. The other spouse is like, I'm just waiting for them to retire. I wish they would. They don't need to work, right?
Yeah.
But the husband or wife might be thinking,
people are nervous.
A lot of our clients will make an easy 100,000 part-time because they're so valuable with secret clearances and all these things, and they're making at this point like cake money, 100,000, 150,000 part-time working on their terms. Yeah. A lot of those clients are thinking, well, why wouldn't I continue to make that pretty easy buck at this point in their careers, and I can continue to golf and do the things I want to do, but make some good coin and money too. But sometimes husband and wife and partners aren't on the same page, and obviously that can stall decisions. We want to be on the same page as best we can, because all these decisions affect each other as spouses.
Retirement fiduciary, marital counselor.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Maybe 20 to 30 years from now, Heather, I'll have even more patience than I have today.
You're going to get your doctorate in psychology.
I thought I was patient when Shelly and I got married, and God is working on my patience, and I'm becoming more patient, and hopefully will be, later down the road as well. Yeah. But you want to be on the same page with your spouse and partner. These are huge, life-changing, pivotal, important decisions. Yeah. So hopefully those 5, boxes are, checklist items you can really think about if you haven't. Yeah. We even have a retirement kit as well, Heather, for those of you that are watching that say, you know what, I need something to help get me organized with budget, with pulling all my resources together, thinking about lifestyle. We have a retirement kit. Would be happy to offer that to anyone watching the podcast right now as well. And along with our book, the book that I wrote within the last year. Let me get to
the book real quick, but how do people get a hold of the kit? Do we send an email?
So we have it via PDF, or we can physically mail it to somebody if they just simply can we email, reach out to us and let us know.
An info at Abich Financial?
The info email would be best. info@abichfinancial.com.
Okay, got it. All right. So yes, also I was going to bring up the book, The Retirement Roadmap, The 7 Steps to a Long-Lasting Retirement. Abe, you wrote this book as your own, and I'm happy to say that it's not overwhelming or intimidating. It's just a little over 100 pages, just a few hours to read how you have broken down complicated information into a simple, digestible form in this book. So talk more about it and what people can expect to gain from reading this.
Well, it's a lot of what we just talked about today is going to be in the book, just kind of thinking through where you've come from, how long it took you to get here, everything, your journey, right? Your journey of like going to school even and picking out a degree and then choosing your 401k for the first time and then to continue to contribute more and more. And then one day you wake up and you hit your first million. You make $100,000 a year for the first time. You've gotten to that $1 million mark. You've got to that $5 million mark, whatever it is. But kind of soaking all of that in at the top of your retirement mountain. That's where all of our clients are, pretty much right at the peak or already descending down. Embracing that, soaking it all in, and then realizing, well, I'm heading into a new phase of my life, and there's not a lot of advice and guidance out there on what we call phase 2, on that retirement descent. There's tremendous advice and guidance out there on phase 1 and how to invest and where to invest. Very little advice out there for retirees, people 55 and older, looking to put together that distribution plan. That's what the book is all about. And it's 7 steps to what I think can be a great long-lasting retirement.
If you want a copy of Abe's book, a few different ways for you to get your hands on one. For anybody that comes in for their first initial consultation, we will give you a complimentary copy of the book. You can also go to Amazon to purchase your copy. We've got a free chapter that you can download on the website. So we have links to all of those things as far as where to and how to get a hold of the book to read for yourself. Those are posted in the show notes. Or just go to our website, theretirementkey.com, and that's where you can find more information on the book, as well as just how to get in touch with Abe and his team. There is a lot to think about. It's so much bigger than money when it comes to your retirement. But I think that the best thing to think about and the most exciting thing to think about is it's your journey. You're still on it.
Absolutely.
You're not done yet. You're just going to this, Abe, you say all the time, it's the second phase of your financial life.
It's a really, really exciting period of
Yeah.
time for people.
Yeah.
Like just transitioning into this new phase. Oftentimes it's a new home. Again, grandkids, just all the success in your career usually. And then you've worked your entire life to get here to be able to spend and enjoy it.
That's right.
How much more fun is that? Right?
So
it's
fun.
an exciting time.
So much fun when you are ready, when you have gone through these steps and fully digested everything that's involved. But getting it all into a plan, obviously, is what's really going to help you have more confidence as you head into this next phase of your life. This is what Abe and his team are doing every single day in the office. They are here to do with and for you as well. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you are just wondering where to begin, you can do it right now. Visit us at theretirementkey.com or just click on the links we've got posted in the show notes.